This is Precalculus video lecture number 13 on inequalities involving quadratic functions. So since we've been studying quadratic functions, now we want to look at how we would solve inequalities of this kind. And here are the following steps. So the first thing is you want to figure out where the x-intercepts are for the quadratic function. And if the parabola doesn't have any x-intercepts, then find the vertex. Or alternatively, you could just determine which way it opens, if it opens up or down. We'll do an example that looks like that. Then you need to graph the quadratic function. This just needs to be a little rough sketch. It does not need to be a full-blown graph the way we were doing in the previous lesson with the vertex and the intercepts and the axis of symmetry and all that. And then lastly, you're going to use the graph to determine the solution to the inequality. All right, so let's just dive right in. Solve each inequality. We have x squared minus x is less than 12. So to start off with, I want to figure out what the x-intercepts are for this parabola. I need a 0 on one side of the inequality. Usually it's a good idea to put the 0 on the right-hand side. So I'm going to move 12 over to the other side. So we have x squared minus x minus 12 is less than 0. And conveniently, x squared minus x minus 12 factors into x minus 4, and x plus 3 is less than 0. So this parabola right here that we're looking at, x squared minus x minus 12. Let me ask you this. Which way is it opening? Is it opening up or down? It opens upward. How do we know? Because the coefficient of the quadratic term, the coefficient of x squared, is positive. Okay, that's going to be really important to solving this inequality. And then I can see here, now that it's in factored form, what the x-intercepts are. The x-intercepts are going to be at 4, 0, and negative 3, 0. Always write your intercepts as ordered pairs. Now from here, you're going to graph, but you don't have to do this full-blown graph. You just really need the x-axis. Okay, so here's your x-axis. You're going to put the x-intercepts on there. So negative 3, 0, 4, 0. I don't care where the vertex is. All I know is that the parabola is opening upwards, and that's the most important thing. Okay, so here's the x-intercepts. The parabola is opening upward. So it looks like this. And then now let's go back to the inequality that we're trying to solve. And it's saying, hey, when is this parabola less than 0? Less than 0 meaning when is it below the x-axis, strictly below the x-axis. So come to your graph. Can you see which portion of it lies below the x-axis? It's this portion here. So I want to give, in terms of x, the interval for which this parabola is below the x-axis. Now I'm not going to include the endpoints because this is a strict inequality. It just is less than 0, not less than or equal to 0. So we would say starting from negative 3 up until 4, the parabola is below the x-axis or it's negative. So that's an interval notation. If you wanted to write it in set builder notation, you would say all x's such that x is between negative 3 and 4. You could write it out this way as well. All right. So you see, all you really need for the graph are the intercepts, and then you have to know which way the parabola is opening so you could answer the question appropriately. All right. Now let me ask you this. What if the problem instead, right? What if instead, let's switch it up. What if it gave you x squared minus x minus 12 is greater than 0? So now they are interested in figuring out which piece of the parabola is greater than 0 or above the x-axis. Well, you would have to write those two portions separately, right? And then join them together. So your answer would go from negative infinity to negative 3 union 4 to infinity. All right, good. In set builder notation, it's not so nice. I'll show you, but I wouldn't use it. So x such that you would say x is strictly less than -3 or x is strictly greater than 4. That's your other option. Okay, good. Now let's look at another example, a little bit funky case. So we have 2 times 2x squared minus 3x is greater than -9. So let's start cleaning up. That way we can have a 0 on the right-hand side of the inequality. So we have 4x squared minus 6x is greater than -9. And then from here, this means 4x squared minus 6x plus 9 is greater than 0. Does this factor? You might be tricked and think it's a perfect square trinomial, but it's actually not. Oh no. So since it doesn't factor, what do we do? Does that mean it doesn't have x-intercepts? No, not necessarily. We have to use the quadratic formula to see. So x is equal to opposite of b, so 6 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that's 36 minus 4 times 4 times 9, all over 2 times 4. And this is going to be 6 plus or minus the square root of 36 minus 16 times 9, that's 144 over 8. And right away I can tell, okay, 36 minus 144, that's going to be negative. So the square root of a negative number is not going to give me a real number, which means I don't have any x-intercepts. So this parabola is a floater. It's not crossing the x-axis. Okay, what do we do? Well, you go back to the inequality here, where you got things all nice and cleaned up with a 0 on one side, and you ask yourself, which way is this parabola opening? Is it opening up or down? That's right, it's opening upward. Okay, so let me ask you this now. How is it possible for a parabola to be opening upward and never cross the x-axis? What would it have to look like? Well, it would have to be floating above the x-axis. And I don't care where the vertex is. All I care is that I know which way it's opening. Since it doesn't cross the x-axis, it has to be living entirely above it. And now let's see what the inequality is asking us for. The inequality is saying, when is this parabola greater than 0? When is it sitting above the x-axis? Well, the entire parabola is sitting above the x-axis. So you would say for all real numbers, this quadratic equation is greater than 0. Or this quadratic function is greater than 0. So from -infinity to infinity. Okay. Now, of course, I have to ask you a hypothetical situation. What if instead you had the same parabola, 4x squared plus 6x plus 9, but this time they want to know when is it less than 0? That means when is it below the x-axis? So what would you say there? When is this parabola below the x-axis? It never is, right? So there's no solution, or you could write out the empty set. Okay, now don't memorize. Don't say, oh, if it opens up and it's greater, it's all real numbers. Don't do any of that. Just figure out which way it's opening. Figure out if it's above or below the x-axis. And then from there, look at the inequality and see what makes sense, okay? But whenever it doesn't cross the x-axis, then your solution's going to be either all real numbers or no solution, okay? Just use the graph and some reasoning to determine which one. Don't just memorize random things. All right, last example. We have to find the domain of f of x equals x minus 3x squared, all under a radical. Okay, so square root of x minus 3x squared. Now let's think about this. We've worked with domains before for rational functions, right? If you had like y equals 2x over x minus 3, and we figured out, oh, x cannot equal 3. But remember, anytime you have a radical function with an even index, even meaning this number here, in this case it's a 2, so if you have a square root, a fourth root, a sixth root, we know we can't take even roots of negative numbers. So you want the radicand, you want the stuff underneath the radical to not be negative. So you force it to happen. You go, oh, the domain is going to be all x's such that x minus 3x squared has to be greater than or equal to 0, right? That's the condition that we're going to impose so that we can take the square root of anything we plug in for x. I don't want that stuff to be negative, so you're just going to set it greater than or equal to 0. Oh, well, look, this is a quadratic inequality. So let's go ahead and solve it the way we've been working out the past few examples. Can I factor? Yes, I can take out an x, and then I have 1 minus 3x is greater than or equal to 0. So what are the x-intercepts? Can you tell? So this x means that 0, 0 is an intercept. And then 1 minus 3x, that means x equals 1/3 is going to be a 0 or an intercept. Okay, and then let me ask you this. Which way is this parabola opening? Notice here the quadratic term had a minus sign in front of it. So that means this one is opening downwards. All right, so a little rough sketch here. We're just going to draw the x-axis and the intercepts. So here's 0. Here's 1/3. Remember, those are our x-intercepts, and this time this parabola is opening downwards. Okay, cool. So let's go back to the problem at hand. We want to know, when is the parabola greater than or equal to 0? So when is it above or at the x-axis? Can you see in the graph where that happens? It's in the middle right here, all of this stuff. And in this case, my inequality is inclusive. It's greater than or equal to 0, so I am going to include the endpoints. So that means the domain is going to be the interval starting at 0 up until 1/3, including them. Or if you wanted to write it in set builder notation, you would say the domain is all x's such that 0 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 1/3. Either one's appropriate. If the directions don't specify which notation to use, you can use either. But most of the time they'll say write it in interval notation or write it in set builder notation. Okay, so just rule of thumb, anytime you have f of x equals square root of something, you set the something greater than or equal to 0, solve, and that's your domain. The solution to the inequality is your domain. When this is an even index, meaning this number in here is even. If it's odd, it's all real numbers. You don't even have to stress because you can take odd roots of negative numbers. All right, so that concludes the lesson, short and sweet. And after this, we're going to start a new unit, so stay tuned.